Live or we're live? Yo, Flurfs, what's up? It's good to see you. We are live. I'm glad you guys could all make it. Thank you all for coming tonight. It's going to be a trigger warning, happy thing. So I warn you all. It's definitely going to get trigger some people. It's good to see you guys. We got PJ Cruikshank, Michael Kahn, Alan Norshan, and Ryan S. in the house. How are you guys doing?
Yo.
All good. All good, guys.
Good. What's up?
It's good to have you guys. Yeah, I'm glad you could make it. We're just waiting for Soft to come in as well. He should be here soon. Did you guys see this debate, though?
No,
I didn't watch it. No, I wanted to, but I didn't watch it. No,
you know me and Craig. Like, I'm gonna be struggling to even watch it.
Yeah.
Type tonight, like so.
I'm actually surprised. Here's Sof. How you doing?
Here's the man of the hour. What's up, Dave?
What's going on, fellas? How we
Your
doing?
eyes is glitching. I just have to say, guys, if you haven't watched it, you're going to see tonight how Sov totally obliterated him from beginning till the end. He literally had Craig with his tail between his legs from the get-go. And it was something to behold.
What is stuttering?
I can't wait.
Well, he had that buzzer button on there thing, right? And I couldn't even hardly hear it out of my end. I'd hear like that.
I think that's something Jaren has to change, is that buzzer thing. Because it literally, you're trying to get a point out and you're halfway in and the thing is, Craig already knows what you want to say. So while you're saying your fifth word, he buzzes so you can't say anything. Mm-hmm. And that was his whole tactic. So he misused the buzzer so no one can hear your argument, so he can stop you from talking and give his, again, straw man reverse of burden proof. That's all.
Well, I told him last night, I said, Craig, he hit that damn buzzer like it owed him money. And I was like, holy shit. So, Jared, here's the way you should do it. I talked to Jared after the show. I said, here's the way you should do it. I think. It's your show, do it your way. But it should be this. The other guy's talking. The other guy is muted. When one guy's talking, the other guy is muted. And that other guy doesn't get to get unmuted until the other guy says done. Then immediately, as soon as he says done, his shit is muted and the other guy is unmuted. And you're only allowed a certain amount of time, reasonable amount, so that you don't bloviate forever and ever repeating the same thing like Craig does.
I agree with that. But then you also need the moderator to do his job. Because sorry, Jaren didn't actually moderate and say, listen here, Craig, he's asked you this question a couple of times now, and you're not answering him. You're trying to reverse it back to him. Just answer him.
Well, next time somebody ever says that to me, I should have never, when he said, can you steel man my position? I should have just said, yes, I can, and I'm not going to. Those are for
but
you.
You see, that's where I didn't agree with Jaren. Because you did that. You steel manned his argument perfectly, which people you'll see tonight. And then he tried to straw man you and say, you are the one claiming Cavendish.
Right.
And you are the one saying it's experiment. Jaren was supposed to step in and say, listen, yeah, he straw manned your argument. It's not his argument. Will you please answer Saul's question he asked 5 times now? And Jaren didn't do that. That's the only thing I would say that I didn't like about the debate. Otherwise, Jaren did an okay job. Like he usually does, it does okay. But other than that, yeah, I think the buzzer thing really, it disrupts the debate. The buzzer doesn't work. Yeah.
Well, I knew he'd abuse the shit out of it. I think I hit the buzzer 3 times total, and one was because I remembered it was there. Actually, 4 times because one time I hit it by accident. My finger just twitched and I hit my mouse button. I was like, oh, I didn't mean to do that. Go ahead. But no, that whole thing, wanting to get me. Steel man my position. Okay, so I give you some of the shit that you globetards say. That's what I'm doing. That's what I was doing with it, right? And then he wants to turn around and then say, well, here's the thing with the Cavendish experiment. And so explain this, that, and the other. And I'm like, dude, that's your fucking argument. I don't have to do that. Why are you? He says, well, you brought it up. And I said, only in the context that you wanted me to steel man your argument. What the hell are you doing? I said, so you had me steel man so you could straw man me. What the hell?
Exactly. But yeah, it was insane.
Dishonest as hell.
So do you guys like the poll? FTFE shows he can't be honest. 68% say no, he has no honesty at all. 9% say yes, he can't be honest. 9% say no, he is dishonest, and 13% says yes, he has to be dishonest.
Yeah.
Well, he is dishonest.
Oh yeah,
What's the right answer?
But it's too dumb to know what dishonest means.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Their kryptonite is always going to be gas pressure and gravity, man, and they go hand in hand. They go
Exactly.
hand in hand. You can segue right from one to the other and show the basic, very basic, rudimentary impossibilities of their claim right there. They don't even have to go into looking at stars and space and planets and other bullshit like that. All I have to do is show the physical impossibilities of your postulation, and that's it.
I was gonna
Yeah.
hope you were getting back to the horizon and the foreshortening effects and stuff like you did with THC, because that was awesome. He didn't even let you speak there. He was literally every time you just opened your mouth, he would disrupt you and talk over you and say, stop talking over me," kind of thing. And I was
Yeah.
hoping you're going to bring that up again in last
That's-
night's debate, but then I was glad you guys were talking about gravity because he has nothing.
No. And while you're watching this, just pay attention to when he talks. Filter out the ad homs and you're not smart and these guys did this for thousands, all this other bullshit that's not really making a point. And see if you can filter out any actual points that he's making. And he's not. All he's doing is just really taking a long-winded way to say, "Nuh-uh, you're stupid." That's
Yeah,
basically
talking
what
in
he did.
vain. Talking in vain. They've got lots to say, but nothing meaningful. You know?
Yeah, I just want to say hi to everybody in the YouTube land. It's good to see you all here. Really, really appreciate you all. Please hit the likes. It really does help. Share the show. Let everybody know we are live.
Found this little gal walking around up there on the moon, so I figured she needed a place to stay.
Don't let her eat too much moon rocks.
Oh, no.
NASA needs them because all we find out every time is just a petrified wood. So
Well, I don't
You have
eat
to give them
moon
the real
rocks. I don't eat moon rocks. I might smoke them and don't eat them.
I wouldn't
What do you
smoke
guys
them.
read about dogs? Out of all my dogs, this little thing right here is the most voracious eater. She eats more things than I can even count. Yeah.
are you guys ready to start the show?
Absolutely.
Let's do this. Oh, and before we start, I have to say I am
I thought we
debating tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, Biblical Earth against Grayson. So on modern
Where's
day.
that? Where's that? Oh, modern day debate. That's what I thought.
It's going to be
Vicky was
2
asking
a.m. for
earlier.
me, but
Yeah. Vicky was
You better
asking
say hi
earlier
to everybody in chat, Flats.
sorry?
Oh yeah.
Hi to everybody in chat.
Yeah, you haven't hired everybody in chat. You haven't greeted everybody in chat.
I did say hello, but okay, I'll give
You
everybody
bad-
personal
Hi,
hello.
everybody in chat.
You bad
Hi,
host, you.
everybody.
Hi,
Good
everybody.
to see you guys. There's so much people. Wait, I have to go onto my YouTube to actually scroll up. Sorry, guys.
So
41
neglectful
people
you are.
watching, so that's great. 19
neglectful
likes.
you
What's going on? I know I'm not very good at maths, but I think 19 is not something like 41. What's going on?
Well,
Okay.
smash like
Please, guys, hit the likes. So we got Michael Kahn, Roger Lidwell, Vicky. Great to have you guys. Alan Ocean, hello. Sovereign Soul, good to see you. Moxie, what's up, man? Gio, great to have you. And DJ D, good to see you. Angela, baby, what's up? Jeff Conkle in the house, great to have you. Space Miner, good to see you. One Mind, One Spirit, glad to have you in. Tony Whitcomb, hello. Gavin B, glad to have you in. Who else am I? YouTube, what's up, man? Good to have you. And by the way, I had to unban a lot of people again, and I had to unfortunately take a lot of wrenches away because there were again rogue mods that just started banning people left, right, and center. So if you guys were banned,
Ballers must have
What?
got
I thought
some.
we
if
were
you guys were banned, I am sorry, you are unbanned again. It wasn't me. Okay, let's get the show on the road because, again, guys, make sure you're sitting down. Make sure you got something strong because it's going to get hectic.
I don't know, a test, if you will. So it may not go great, but I do thank the guys for joining me, and we're going to at least give it a try. And it looks like things are working so far. We got Craig, we got Dave here. Let's just say hello. Dave, first, how are you?
I'm doing
Ring a ding a ding ding ding. Thank you, Roger Lidwell, for your $2 super chat. Really, really appreciate it, man. He says, ring the moon like a buzzer.
Yeah.
Ellen can do it. He's got a moon behind him.
Yeah.
He's actually ringed it like a buzzer with his drone. And the ballers
Yeah.
didn't like it.
Shoot
Thank
a
you very much
laser.
for the super chat, mate. Really
Shoot a
appreciate it.
laser
What's up,
at it.
Alex? Sorry?
Shoot a laser at it.
Yeah. Yeah. How did they shoot a laser at it before there was a retroreflector on? I don't know. Maybe the Soviets did it long before. And
They ever tried shooting not at the moon and see if they get the same results? I bet they haven't.
exactly. Thank you, PJ Cruikshank. Yes, Sov does kick ass. He's been a member for 17 months. Wow. Really appreciate being a member. Appreciate all my members and all my Patreons and everybody that does support the show financially. You guys are awesome. Thank you very much.
Doing fantastic, Jaron. Thanks for having me on here. I think we're gonna have a good time, and let's see how this new format actually works out, man.
Let's see. And if it goes terribly, or if anybody's got any better ideas, you can leave them in the comments and we will go from there.
I
If
got
you
a better idea. Just like Sov said, take the ding away and just mute the opponent while it's not their turn to talk. There we go.
want to send a question to either guy, you can use the super chat or the Rockfin tips, and we will get those asked at the end of the show. So I really won't be watching that during the show, but at the end of the hour, we will get your guys' questions asked. Craig, go ahead and say hello to everybody.
Hello.
Yeah, hi everyone. Thanks for having me on,
I
Darren.
think
I
we'll
know.
forward this part. Is that fine?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
How you doing?
And here's how basically they can buzz in when they will allow, like, and give you a full need it. Things in your patients wants to talk after the sound. They're
Oh, well, as I'm here, I'll have to defeat Choose.
That was a brilliant debate. Thank you guys all for coming.
Good night.
Great job.
That's practically what I want to hear from FTFE tonight, guys. What we just heard. It's good to see you. Hey, Sleeping Warrior. Yeah, you're going to see how bad it gets for Craig. It's ask Dave. It was wow. Bad is not the
Has he cut
word.
his hair yet? Nope. Looks like it hasn't. Nope.
I told Jaron immediately afterward, I said, I want another go at that fucker. I want another go at him.
Wow. You want to put yourself through that pain again?
No, it won't be no pain. Okay, we're going to play this. We're going to play like that. Let's go, big boy. Let's do it. All right. I was giving him the benefit of the doubt, and I shouldn't. I give these guys too much credit for going to be fair, going to try to be honest or anything. And they just can't. They just can't. And so that's why I say
It doesn't exist, does it?
you mute that son of a bitch until I'm done talking. And when I'm done, I'll say I'm done. Then you can mute me and let him go until he says he's done. But he ain't going to get to go on for 15 damn minutes saying the same thing over and over and over again. You know, that's how it has. He has to be moderated, man.
Exactly. No, especially Craig. That guy, he really needs control. And the projection from that guy onto you with the saying how you keep on jumping in and interrupting him while you literally giving a statement, all he does is interrupt you.
Well, that one part where he says, next question, I said, no bullshit. We're not moving on to this. You haven't answered what I said. Let's get with it. You know
I was
what to
happy
do
you did that. I was happy you did that. Because he knew he had nothing. He was back to the corner, so he had to want to change it. Okay.
modern day debate. You want to go first or second?
I'll go second.
Okay, so that means we're going to do 1 minute intros, and Craig, you're going to go first, and I'm just going to
Good luck, guys.
have to think about that because I don't have a 1 minute clock, but I can find one. I'll put it on my phone. I didn't think about that, but we'll do a minute. Just a quick intro. Basically, the point of this is just to say what your goal of this conversation is, and I'll stop you at a minute. I'm sure you know about how long that is.
Okay.
All right, let's go ahead. You're up first, Craig. 1 minute starts whenever you start talking.
Okay, so today I am here to debate on behalf of the globe and the general astronomical consensus of us being in the solar system and the galaxy, etc. My process that I always use in these debates is to rely purely on empirical evidence that can be verified. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean verified.
What? Empirical evidence.
He's cutting his own head off.
He starts off already Wrong. What empirical evidence has they ever shown?
Isn't Craig one of these science don't prove anything type guys?
Mm-hmm.
So he's got no empiricism then, has he?
Exactly.
No.
But what empiricism is he talking about? He says he bases everything off of empiricism. What empiricism?
Can't see any. Can't see any at all.
So a few seconds into his opening and he's already wrong. Well done, Craig.
By everybody, because not everybody has the equipment to do it, but it's been verified. Everything I talk about has been verified multiple times and is empirically shown to be true. And I will be expecting exactly the same from my interlocutor today, that empirical evidence of his claims will be shown, not just saying a bunch of things like scientific tests with backings and data in those tests, etc. I can present those things, and I certainly hope that my opponent here today will do the same thing. Unfortunately, in the 800 plus flat Earth debates I've been in, that has never happened. Maybe this will be the first, who knows? I'm done.
Thank you very much. All right, that was under a minute. And we've got Dave, go ahead. You got a minute whenever you start talking.
Right on, man. So by all observations and experiences that all of us have, we experience a level topographical stationary plane contained within a dynamic fluid pressure system. I say contained because it has to be. There is no other way. I'm going to show that the fundamental basics of the
I
globe.
don't know if you guys realize this. Every time someone brings up gas pressure, he gets this kind of stare in his eyes. You know, like he's getting, damn, what the hell am I going to do? Because they keep bringing this up. Kind of look, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's got the nerves are going. The nerves are going. It's just not showing in his body yet, but in his head, he's like, "No, what's going on? What's going on?"
That's why I love bringing that up, because he literally gets that, "Oh shit, what am I going to say?" kind of looking in his eyes.
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
Sleeping Warrior, I would like. It says it's full already. 6 out of 6 gifts, mate. Sorry.
I'll drop out for a bit if you want. If he wants to join and say
He says
something.
he wants to come in and quickly say something.
I can
about
drop
it.
out too.
I'll drop out. It's all right.
No.
No.
Where's my boss going?
Michael, I'll go if you want to stay. Yeah?
I'm all right. Let Sleeping Warrior join for a bit, and if anybody else drops out, I'll come back in. Like, there's no big.
Yeah, we can change in and out.
Yeah. If you want to do that.
In a bit.
I'll drop.
You drop, yeah. Alan can take the show. Alan can do the show.
Tony Whitcomb, thank you very much for your £5, mate. Really appreciate it. He says, Craig does have an empiricism of images in Photoshop. Can't argue with that. Yeah, it's empirically shown to be Photoshopped. So I agree with that. Definitely. Thank you very much for your super chat, Tony. Really, really appreciate it, mate. You rock. So yeah, Tony, there is space for you to come in now if you want to. The link is linked to the top pin to the top, so you are able to come in, mate.
From Jump Street are scientifically impossible, and that this is nothing more than a big Narnia fantasy. We've got all kinds of physical impossibilities that they fly by you when you're only about 5 or 6 years old. You don't critically think about them, and you accept them as facts. And then later, if you go back and look at those very fundamental physical impossibilities that are postulated by the globe, you realize that there's absolutely no proof of this scientifically impossible condition.
So true.
All right, and we are good there. Thank you very much for that. My phone making that noise. All right, and it looks
that
like
was so true. I mean, think about it. If you weren't told it's a globe when you were younger, would you think it's ever a globe?
No experience that you ever have. You like somebody was just bebopping along one day doing their normal stuff, having their regular observations, and they say, I think that this is a ball, and then it's spinning around. Nothing in your experience would ever make you even come to that idea at all. So, well, what about if I saw a sunset? Well, if anything, you would think that for some reason maybe the sun is going into the ground, but that's impossible. So there's something else going on. I think you would explore several other possibilities before you would come to the idea of a ball, because given any kind of experience and experiences with balls and spheres, we know that that would be just stupid. That's a ridiculous idea.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Occam's razor. They don't get it.
No. Has to be
Yeah, but
told.
do you think they get any logical syllogism? They get nothing. They don't know what the word logical is. I'll be surprised if they never know how to spell logical.
Well, once they've got you to accept these without question, and they do it to you when you're like 5 years old, 6 years old, you're not really got the critical thinking ability to go, wait a second. You know, how is this actually happening? I mean, I remember when they were I made my teacher mad because I was really young in grade school, and they were telling us that we live on the globe and it turns and shit. And I says, what keeps us stuck to it? And they said, gravity. I said, well, what is gravity? And they said, well, it's kind of like magnetism. And I said, but I'm not a piece of metal. So how is that working? And he says, well, it's because it creates this force that holds everything down for spinning around. That made no sense to me. So then what he did, he tried to run the water in a bucket swinging around shit. And he said, see there, it's held in there by the thing spinning. I said, yeah, but take the bottom of the bucket out. What happens to the water? I said, you got it contained. I said, that's not what's happening. I'm not being pushed against the inner part of a spinning object. It just came in from the merry-go-round, and that thing tried its damnedest to throw me off of it. And I noticed that all the fat kids went off first. So what's going on there? He got mad as hell.
When I was Sovereign, when I was a kid at school, I was taught that, a little like you, I was taught that the core of the earth magnetizes to the surface, to the ground. I was told that was gravity, core of the earth.
And the sad thing is, the globies today say that's not what it is, and that's exactly what they did teach when we were younger.
Yeah, you heard that as well, didn't you, Flats? And the spin of the earth, and Michael heard that the spin of the earth kept you to the earth.
Yeah, you can't have a molten magnet.
No,
exactly, dude, exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, Anthony, what's up, man? FTFE is a liar, exactly.
Yeah, like that. Nice. Yeah, we taught some rubbish at school, so weren't we?
Yeah.
And I used to be the one. I used to think if I wasn't told it was a ball, I would just look at it and see, because I'm from the seaside. I'd just look at the sea and I'd wonder, how far does that go for? That's the only kind of thought it was in my head. How far, I wouldn't have thought, is it a ball? How you doing?
Yeah, what's it, man?
You're not taught.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize.
Okay, you're told things.
I didn't.
You're trained.
Realize I was broke.
You're trained to trust.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you, man.
You're trained to trust authoritative academia.
Yeah.
Now you can go on right now. You can go into Google and say, what causes the air pressure on Earth, and they'll say it's the gravity pulling on the air. And everybody knows, and I've known this, I just came aware of this fact. I didn't know that's what these idiots believed. I always knew it was displacement. I spent my time in the water. I knew that the pressure you felt was pounds per square inch in all directions due to displacement on your body. It's not an added up amount being pressed down. There's no column of air. No. It's the amount you displace. So even think of it. So Brenda came on my show last night for a brief time. Wow, it's stupid.
Brenda, that one, not even worth it. She is a phenomena. Roger Little, thank you very much for your $5 super chat. He says focal spectrum is affected by the moon cycle, and they know this. Yeah, the Elias effect. Why did they always run from this Elias effect, guys? It's really weird stuff that does happen, even in eclipses and stuff too. Focal pendulums. But it's definitely not the spin of Earth. Thank you very much for your super chat, Matt. Really appreciate it. He sent another $2 super chat saying it's not the spin of the Earth. Exactly. Definitely not the spin of the Earth, mate. You rock. Appreciate all the super chats, man. You rock. Okay. Anthony, you wanted to say something about his opening?
Yeah, that opening line that he said, I don't know if you just make a note of where we are, but if could we go back and listen to it again? I was nearly sick at the overt lie, because it's like a double, like they say, there's like a double-edged sword when you say something, it can often do two things at once. This is a great example of it. He seems to be repackaging himself or rebranding himself. Just play it again, just so I can rehear it.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. Debatism X, let's flip it, see what it is.
I'll go second.
Okay, so that means we're going to do 1 minute intros, and Craig, you're going to go first, and I'm just going to have to think about that because I don't have a 1 minute clock. But
I'll have to stop it again. Another $2 super chat from Jeff Conkle. Thank you very much, mate. Appreciate it. He says Craig is a lying piece of bleep.
Sean Hawkins just went live talking about us. I guess he's watching.
I wanted to actually do a special video for a for an opening today on the Sean Hawkins, but I just didn't have time because of my presentation I'm doing for the debate on Friday morning. But I'm definitely going to do it. Sov, you're going to love it.
He needs us. He needs us. So he rides our coattails. That's how he gets that 50 views, man. Exactly. Right there.
Yeah, shame. I mean, he does usually only have like 5 to 10 people. Look, when he usually has me or you as the subject, then he gets to like 15 people maybe. But without us, it's like 2, maybe 5 people. So he does need us. Shout out to you, Sean Hawkins. Okay, let's go.
Shout out retracted.
I can find one. I'll put it on my phone. I didn't think about that, but we'll do a minute. Just a quick intro. Basically, the point of this is just to say what your goal of this conversation is, and I'll stop you at a minute. I'm sure you know about how long that is. All right, let's go ahead. You're up first, Craig. 1 minute starts whenever you start talking.
Bad. You have to listen to it again.
Okay, so today I am here to debate on behalf of the globe and the general astronomical consensus of us being in the solar system and the galaxy, etc. My process that I always use in these debates is to rely purely on empirical evidence that can be verified. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean verified by everybody, because not everybody has the equipment to do it, but it's been verified. Everything I talk about has been verified multiple times and is empirically shown to be true. I will be expecting exactly the same.
He contradicted himself.
So he literally just said that the method that I will use today is to rely entirely on empirical evidence, as I always do. Well, aside from the fact that there's no evidence there, and we know.
Oh, breaking up. Damn
it. Modus operandi is to be nasty, vitriolic. It just makes my blood boil that he references himself as I always do, in reference to providing the empirical evidence. Now, aside from the fact that there is no evidence, the guy's nasty, horrible, negative. It's like listening to him describe himself like that. That in itself just means that everything that he says from this moment on, you know is going to be a lie, because that is not the way that guy is. That guy's just disgusting. It's horrible. Honestly, I was nearly sick. Carry on.
Well, like I said, he has a way to frustrate and piss everybody off just by even being on screen, because he's so dishonest. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I understand where you're coming from. But I think we don't need to listen to the rest of his opening. We can go to where the actual debate starts, because you guys think it's bad now. Oh, my word.
I was hoping I could get. I was going to nail him with a real conundrum. I was going to nail him with a real conundrum on that weight causing pressure, because if you come to a pressurized cylinder, right, of gases, you have a pressurized cylinder. What is that? Gravity causing that pressure in there? No. In fact, inside of there is no pressure. The only pressure is against the containment. And you're going to get a reading because you stick something that's going to displace that medium is how you're going to register that. That's the only way you can register that. That pressure you're reading is the displacement or the constraint against whatever it's trying to get, it's pushing against. Like either the containment, or if someone were in there, they would feel the pressure on them too, because they're displacing the same amount.
Well, let's put it this way. If you have a barometer, okay, let's say I have my gauge and it's sitting like this, I'll get a reading, correct? Now, what happens if I stick the barometer like this? Will I still get a pressure reading?
Right.
Well, I put it upside down. Will I still get a pressure reading?
Yep.
Yeah.
I wonder why.
If it was due to weight, all it would have to be would be slightly canted a little bit, and the reading would be off. Try weighing yourself on a scale that's on a slant, and see what happens.
If you get a canister and you got the valves on that give you the pressure readings, do you think it matters where that valve is sitting? No. Why is it mostly at the top? Because it doesn't matter. The gas isn't pooled at the bottom of the container. It's all over. It's right through the container.
Mm-hmm.
It's really idiotic. The
See, if that were true, if that were true, then a diver, even though he increases in pressure, he would find movement to become much more difficult. If what
the lower he got.
Yeah, you'd be having to move the medium out of the way just to get by.
Imagine the diver would have to take like an hour, 2 hour depth dive, and while he's doing this, he has to turn his tank around because every time gravity's pulling the gas down to the bottom of the tank.
Dumbest shit I ever heard. Is gravity causing the air pressure on the ISS?
I love when he gets to when you're trying to say the gases are produced and he doesn't know what produced means.
Oh my God, I know. I'm like, if I take in oxygen and I exhale carbon dioxide,
that's producing.
I created carbon dioxide.
You produced it, exactly. I mean, think about it. We have things called cow farms and stuff. Do they produce methane? Yes. Our cars drive on the highway. Does CO2 get produced by cars driving? Yes. This moron, Craig, doesn't know what produced means.
No.
But it gets bad.
Maybe you should have used manufacturers.
And it is up to you what you want to talk about. And for as long as you want to talk, unless Dave wants to interject, you can also,
this gets bad.
if you want to ask him questions or whatever. There's by no means is it you have to ring in.
Okay.
Thank you. And can we ring in FTFE? Great. Thank you. Okay. Buzzers work. We're ready to go. Craig, you're starting it off. When you go, I will start your clock.
Okay, thanks. So, like I said, everything I say is based on empirical evidence that can be shown to be factual. You said in your opening there that you will show that the globe is scientifically impossible. I mean, that's something that has yet to be shown by a flat earther. They will claim that it's scientifically impossible, but frankly, it's due to a misunderstanding of science and physics. So I'd love to start there with you, Dave. Can you?
I have to stop that there. That's a false claim there.
Absolutely.
Literally, he started off with, "No, you don't understand."
Yep.
That's all he had there, guys. So he's already lost the debate in his opening statement by saying, you just don't understand, so therefore I'm right and you're wrong. I'm sure there's
I've heard that one many times.
Yeah? Ellen?
Well, I've just heard that statement many times from the ballers.
All they say.
Yeah.
Me too.
Don't understand science.
Well, you know what I tell them? And I tell them this because I'm a stickler for verbiage, right? Like the relative to eye level horizon, okay? Because they're gonna stick to shit. So you gotta word things exactly, or else they're gonna try to pick that shit apart on you.
And I was so proud of you when you did that relative to eye level, because he didn't know which way to go. He was still trying. He was literally ignoring you saying relative, trying to say, "Oh no, it doesn't rise to eye level." You like it's not real. It's not saying rise. I'm saying relative. Do you know what relative means? And he didn't. He literally just ignored it.
Well, when they say you don't understand, I say yes. You're absolutely right. I don't stand under anything. I understand things and I comprehend what is said.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So no, I don't understand it. You do stand under it. I don't. I understand, and therefore I can. I have discernment. I have.
Don't let Sean hear you. Don't let Sean hear you say that word. Sean says we don't understand words. They don't. We say he says we make up words because he doesn't know what they mean. But Michael, thank you very much for. He says, "Wow, the bell's going to annoy me." Oh yeah, it gets bad. It gets really bad.
Really bad.
Okay, let's carry on, guys.
Well, that was 17 months as well.
Can you explain to me why the globe is physically impossible,
Sorry?
scientific?
You say something?
I'm saying, mate, you didn't say that Michael was 17 months. You just read that his thing.
Sorry. My boss is going to fire me now. I'm so sorry, boss. 17 months being my boss, guys.
Yo, mine too. Still ain't been paid though, dude.
Thank you for being a member for 17 months, Michael. Really appreciate it, man.
Typically?
Well, first and foremost, I have to point to the fact that it is impossible to have a volume of gas without it containment. This is the only way that you can have a gas pressure is with physical containment of the gas, because gas can only be in a volume if it's contained. Secondly, the idea of a moving, rotating, whirling world in a void is also impossible due to the fact that gravity is an assumed theoretical theory. And I want to back that up. Yes, I know it's a scientific theory, but I can put the word scientific in front of the word bullshit and it doesn't make it any less bullshit. There is absolutely no empirical proof of gravity. I know you're going to go and say that science doesn't prove things, but you can never manipulate your independent variable, whereas in my concept, I can manipulate the independent variable. What I can show is that this entire system works on nothing more than the principles of
See what I said? This is terrible. Don't worry, you're going to see it gets irritating.
Density and gas behavior. It's all.
Okay, you said there that it's gravity is just an assumption and there's no independent variable, etc., etc. Could you describe me an experiment where you could use the independent variable with gravity? Basically what I'm asking you here is, can you steel man?
Basically what he did was reverse the Bernal proof.
Yep.
And Dave, being the nice guy that he is going to steel man the argument perfectly, and then Craig is going to straw man him and say you made the claim about the Cavendish, which is very dishonest.
Position of what gravity is and what experiments we would use, because I'm not really sure what your definition of independent variables within experiments are, but I'm sure they don't align with the scientific consensus. So could you just
sorry, Dave, I have to ask, what's your definition of the independent variable? I think it's the same as everybody else in reality.
Right. I just said I could manipulate the independent variable. I just got done saying I could modulate the independent variable, and you went, and then you wouldn't let me talk anymore.
Oh, wow.
It's awful.
briefly steel man the position of gravity and just one experiment that we use?
Okay, so I'm going to do this from the Glober standpoint, right?
Yes.
We have the proof that mass attracts mass through what we call the Cavendish experiment. And what we know, we notice over time that this phenomenon of the two weights wanting to attract to one another takes place.
Yep. So in that experiment, what's the IV?
So he agreed with you that was a perfect straw man, correct? Because he agreed with you now.
Right.
Great. Now notice he wants to push the IV onto you after you said it's not an experiment.
Right. Exactly.
I guess the weights.
No.
Okay, what is the IV in that experiment?
I might think exactly, Dave, and straight away you have shown that you don't know.
You tell me what the IV is in that experiment. It's not really an experiment. It's torsion dynamics, but go ahead.
With all due respect, you have just shown that you don't know what you're talking about because you failed to strawman the Cavendish.
Yeah, you did fail to strawman because it was steel man. You are the moron. Not strawman. Steel man. And
yeah, but did you notice how he went? Yeah? Did you notice how he completely missed the first step, which is like your observed phenomena, and we don't see mass attracting mass. He
Yeah, but that's exactly it, Anthony. He asked him to steel man the argument. He did. He agreed with him, and then says, "You don't understand because you won't give me the independent variable." where he literally says it's not his argument. He doesn't agree with the Cavendish. He doesn't even say it's an experiment. He says it's not an experiment. So why the hell must Dave give him the independent variable if it's not his argument?
I guess it's because he's trying to get him to make the claim in himself. Like it is reversing the burden of proof.
Mm-hmm. This is desperation because notice, guys, they still have not been able to give us the scientific independent variable for the Cavendish because they claim gravity is the cause. So every time they give us an independent variable, we'll say, but that's not gravity. Wow.
Yeah. I think I just went, dude, it's your fucking experiment. You explain it. I don't even entertain it. So, I figured, here you go. You want me to steel man your position? Okay, I'm gonna say some bullshit that the globetards say. Okay, there it is. There's your position. Now you want to argue with me about your fucking position? What the hell?
I don't think you realize you actually know what steel man means. It's almost like he thinks he's got you. Mm-hmm. And then when you showed him, literally, you know what it means, and you verbatim gave him how stupid the argument is. He wanted to reverse the burden onto you. That's literally called dishonesty, and that's just him projecting his ignorance onto you by saying you don't understand and you don't know what the IV is. I mean, look how long you had to fight for the IV for him.
Oh my God,
it's crazy. Just watch this. He was wasting your time up. Literally, that was his plan, to waste your time up.
Experiment, which was the one experiment that you brought up that I asked you to. You absolutely entirely failed to explain what the IV in that would be. So maybe we could just discuss that experiment. Could you just talk me through them?
Hold on a second. Wait a second, Craig. Why don't you go ahead?
You buzz in next time.
You've gone on for about 30 seconds now about how I didn't understand the IV. I would like you.
Yeah,
can you tell me?
Hold on, Dave. You need to buzz in if you want to talk. Go ahead. Keep going, Craig.
Yeah, so
man, that buzzer's got to go.
That's so stupid. I'm sorry.
All right, motherfucker, here, boom.
You were already talking. You know what I mean? What does it matter if you had to buzz? You're already talking. But you can clearly see what happened here. He asked you to steel man. You steel man the position. He agreed with it. And just because you don't agree that it's an experiment and you don't want to give the IV because it's not your argument, he wants to straw man you and reverse the burden onto you to say you don't understand and don't want to give me the IV. That is not what was asked from you. What was asked is to steel man the argument. You steel manned it, he agreed with it. And because he couldn't get the IV out of you because he doesn't have one, now all of a sudden you're wrong.
Right. Well, this is what gets me too. He says, because I told him, I says, look, man, this thing, sometimes it has no results. You don't get consistent results. And he goes, well, then it wasn't set up properly. And it's like, so when it does what you think it should do, it's set up properly. But when you set it up and it doesn't do it, then it must be set up wrong. My physics teacher in high school did the Cavendish experiment. Okay. And he got angry because he couldn't get it to do anything. It wouldn't do anything. And he says, I don't understand. It worked last semester with the same thing set up exactly. I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
Exactly. But that's how he works. He doesn't understand when he opens his mouth. He's literally just presenting ignorance to the subject as well. I mean, even I was at school, and when I was at school, they tried to present it, and they have. I don't know if they had the same with you with the lasers. No, and with us, they had this like box. It was almost looked like a shoebox, and they had to literally put the laser on, and while it was on, you could hear it vibrating the box, and it didn't really want to work. And the teacher just told us, yeah, it doesn't always work. Okay.
Isn't that?
Thank you, Roger Little, for $2 super chat.
Aren't you supposed to have consistent results, repeatable and demonstrable experimentation? I think it's termed that, right?
Exactly.
Wow.
But I just want to say thank you, Roger Little, for your $2 super chat. He says, I expected G last night, and I feel much better.
Is that, what is it? He said, I accepted G last night. Does that mean he accepted God?
Well, that's
depends. Did he put big G or little G?
He accepted G as the gravity. So now he feels much better.
Very
Hey,
cool.
either way, it's pretty heavy. Either way, it's pretty heavy, man.
Yeah.
It's very heavy. It's a weight on your shoulders now.
Can I just point out as well, if you actually read the Royal Society's paper that was
Oh, breaking up again.
It's
Really got bad.
no one's identifying into it.
No, there's no IV for Cavendish. It's not a scientific experiment.
Yeah,
And
there's
I
no
saw
IV,
one
there's no
apparatus.
DV.
Exactly.
I saw one apparatus where they had the torsion rod was like this thing was enclosed, right? And they had the one weight on the one side and the other weight on the other side, right? And this bar going across the middle. And I was trying to explain that, look, when that moved, all you had to do was just slightly increase the temperature in the one chamber. And that's going to go, Bernoulli's effect is going to cause that thing to move because of the airflow between the two chambers. It's not difficult.
It's
I
very
was
simple.
mad last night. I took this little thing out and I asked her, I showed it to her and I said, Brenda, what's causing this liquid to go up into that other chamber? And she said, because you're heating the liquid.
No, really?
And I said, no, you're not heating the liquid. It does increase a little bit, but in comparison to the air around it, the air is expanding and forcing the liquid to subside. Its only escape is to go up the tube. Now, the interesting thing is when you notice it's taking a little while to come down because this is still warm. But if I put my hand up here, it shoots it right down to the bottom. Now, the interesting thing is now that air is a lot warmer up there. Watch how slow it goes.
Yep.
Doesn't go nearly as slow. Yeah, I'm heating the liquid, right, Brenda? Come on.
Let's have it. Brenda's the last person to talk to about physics.
Oh my God. She got mad, called me a bigot, and rage quitted. So or eat it or whatever the fuck it is. The miscreant.
Okay. Let's go on.
Yeah, what I want to do here, Dave, is focus on your misunderstanding of the experiment that you brought up, which was the Cavendish experiment. So what we are going to do before we move on to anything else, please, is I would...
Okay, go. Dave?
I love how he muted. Did you see his face there? As soon as he muted him because he doesn't stop talking. Oh, it was great.
Sorry, I didn't unmute you. You have to unmute yourself, Dave.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, so first off, you went off for a long time about that. What is the IV in that experiment that isn't really an experiment?
Mm-hmm.
Right, yeah, Darren, you haven't reset my buzzer, just so you know.
Buzzer, I see what you're saying. Thank you. Now I got you.
Yeah. That's what I was trying to say to you, Dave. I want to test your understanding of the things that you are attempting to debunk. And as you brought up the Cavendish experiment, I want to focus specifically on that. So I'm not going, I know it. I know everything about Cavendish experiment because I've done it, but I would like you to talk me through the methodology of the Cavendish experiment. Please talk me through what happens in the experiment according to the globe side. Over to you.
A lot of times nothing happens. In fact, we've seen video where nothing goes on for well over 12 hours. I'm not going to explain this silly non-experiment that's not even scientific to you. I want proof that gravity is a thing. And hanging some balls and measuring torsion dynamics is definitely not going to, and measuring how much something twists is not going to tell you mass is attracting mass. It's not even a fucking experiment, for crying out loud. So what is your proof that mass attracts mass other than this non-experiment observation that doesn't take up many things into account, especially some of those apparatuses? I can see where the Bernoulli effect could take place right through that channel just through a temperature variation that would swing that pendulum one way or the other out of the way because it's in a tunnel. I mean, it's really it's.
Why does he always have this like retarded giggle?
He's He's Timmy's brother. They giggle.
It runs in the family.
It
They
does.
like to get together on a Saturday night, hang out in their underwear, and tickle each other, man. That's
It's crazy. But I mean, you were very straightforward, yeah. It was very concise what you said. It's not your argument. It's not even scientific. I think it's clear to understand. The argument is yours. The burden's yours, Craig. You want gravity to be real. You need gravity to be shown through the Cavendish. You say it's scientific. He says it's not. It's not his burden to say anything about the IV, as it's your argument.
right.
It's really a gob of shit. Can you give me any proof of gravity? That's what I'm looking for, because if I can manipulate the independent variable in my idea, and I can change the weight of an object. So I can even put something in a vacuum, and when I remove the medium, which you say has mass, right? The object in there gets heavier.
Sean Hawkins, if you're listening, pay attention what he just said, mate. By the way, Sean Hawkins says it gets lighter.
No, bullshit. I got a video of it. I got a video.
Don't worry. This is all going to be that Sean's soup video I'm talking about. Sean, you are a complete and utter moron that doesn't know your left toe from your right toe, mate. Don't worry.
Let's not address Sean.
yeah, but just listen.
I think he gets.
What the hell is going on?
But look at how he's going to react now, and listen what he's going to say back to Dave. This is sad.
On with that, I removed mass from that chamber, and the object actually got heavier. So if I increase the density of the medium, the object will actually get lighter. This has been proven with Archimedes tests all the time. You can do that. It's not difficult, but you have no proof other than an 18th century eccentric that ate fucking
mercury,
lead or some shit, hanging balls in a shed. In fact, I don't even think he did the experiment himself. He set up the apparatus and somebody else did
it. Yeah, it's very simple stuff, Craig. But you see, what he was doing, he was letting your time kind of run out. One thing I realized that. Did you realize that?
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, fuck it, let it go. This guy's useless. Just go. That's the way.
And he wasted his extra time at the end with that statement that he was giving. It was like he used his 4 minutes literally just to insult you the whole time.
He's really a superstar in his own mind. He really thinks, and this is the thing, I said it to him too. I says, you really think that memorization of academic material is a sign of intelligence, don't you? You really think that you read some shit? That's like thinking that somebody that knows by heart all of the characteristics and rules of Dungeons and Dragons means that they're really smart. You know, I mean, no, you're just a nerd focused on a bunch of nonsense. That's all it makes you.
Exactly.
So I'm just laughing at what Vicky said. Yeah. Richie couldn't lay straight. I was just laughing at what Vicky said. She said Richie couldn't lay straight in bed. Which truth is she on today?
Wow.
Chops and changes the truth like the weather. Yeah, man. Well done, Vicky.
This is still the thing that you're using to prove mass attracting mass. No one has ever witnessed any such thing. And this is based on the presupposition that everything you let go of falls. That's not true either. It's all based on the medium that we're immersed in. That's all. And so that brings us to the gas pressure. How do you have a downward acceleration of air due to gravity? Can you show that?
Right. Okay. So back to the Cavendish experiment that you just ignored. We'll get to everything else that you've just
didn't ignore it. You literally just said it's not scientific. You literally said it's not. There's no IV. You just said it's bullshit. How did you ignore it?
Lie straight off the bat.
Yeah. So it's a lie. I'm sure we all heard it. He literally told him it's bullshit. It's not scientific. There's no IV.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
So how's he ignoring that?
Because he's Craig.
Simple as that.
I think if you take those earphones out of his ears and actually use those things that God gave him to use.
His logs.
Yeah.
It's not an experiment. I'm not even going to discuss that non-experiment. Answer my question. Can you show a mass of air having a downward acceleration due to the mass of the Earth?
Sorry, back to the Cavendish experiment that you want to hand wave it.
This is where I had an interview with Jaren. Him as a Modja should have actually stepped in and said, just answer his question. You know what I mean? Because it's going to go on like this a while where he just doesn't answer him. He just literally just ignores him and carries on doing his insults and stuff.
I asked you if you could describe the methodology of the Cavendish experiment and tell me what the IV was. You completely
No, you didn't tell him. That's a lie as well. He never asked him to explain what the IV was.
Oh, you think?
He asked him to explain what was observed, and he did. He said, according to you guys, mass attracts mass. The balls attracted to each other. That's exactly how stupid your argument is. He even agreed with him.
Yeah, and then he changes it.
Yeah, he moved the goalposts.
Yeah.
And just because he doesn't want to give the IV, now all of a sudden he doesn't understand and is ignoring it.
Let's do that. Showing you have
some lead.
Go ahead, Craig.
Yeah. You completely and utterly failed to even describe what the IV was in the experiment. So could you?
You haven't told us what it is yet either. You haven't told us what it is yet either, Craig. I've asked you 3-4 fucking times, what's the IV, and you haven't told me.
Yeah, I know what the IV is.
What? What is it? What is it?
Yeah, I know what the IV is.
No, you don't know what the IV is.
Explain, Craig.
Yeah. What's the IV, Craig? Yeah, I know what the IV is. Okay, what is it? No, I know what the IV is. What is it? It gets bad.
And I would like to go through the methodology. As you have attempted to debunk it, you should fully understand it. I am fully aware of what the IV is. My audience knows that I know what the IV is. I've done many videos talking about what the IV is.
I want you. What's the IV then? Come on.
To tell me why the Cavendish experiment is not an experiment, and tell me what the IV is in the globe steelman of the
He doesn't
experiment.
need to give you the IV because he's not claiming experiment.
Wow.
He's not claiming experiment. Why must he give the IV? It's not hard to understand. Just because he says still man him and give it to him doesn't mean he has to. He literally just says it's not a experiment, so therefore no IV.
You know, when he asked me to steel man that, thinking back, I think I should have said no. I can't.
No.
I'm not going to.
I'm happy you did.
I'm not going to give you your arguments. But if I did, or I could have just went, okay, I'll steel man your position. Gravity, refraction, parallax. Okay, your turn now.
But the thing is, you did. I'm glad you did because it shows the utter dishonesty. You understand? Because this literally paints out how dishonest he has to be. He asked you to steel man. You literally steel man what was supposed to be done. He agreed with you and then moved the goalpost because he doesn't know what the IV is and is asking you for the IV now because he doesn't know. He was hoping you would give it to him. That's his whole spiel. Because if you gave it to him, he would say, oh, even you flat earthers give me IV for Cavendish, so therefore you can't say it's not an experiment. That is what he wanted to do.
Yeah, exactly.
He always has an agenda behind what he says. Let's put it that way.
Of course.
He says a lot of nothing.
Yeah, exactly. And he says it with such confidence.
Okay, Dave.
Okay, I used the buzzer.
Yep,
Did you hear my buzzer?
We heard it.
Okay.
Yeah.
10
All right,
seconds up.
so what is the IV in the Cavendish experiment, Craig? Since you know it, you spent a minute and a half telling everyone how you know it over and over and over. What is the IV in the Cavendish non-experiment that wasn't even performed by Cavendish? Go ahead.
So what you're doing there, Dave, is you're asking the question that I asked you back to me.
God damn, man. That's like, you know, at this point, felt like, you know, you're gonna have to waterboard this son of a bitch to get either done. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, just short of pulling his fingernails out, what else can I do to get this guy to just tell us what the fucking IV is? That's all I want to know. Go ahead, tell me. Nope, gonna tell you for a minute and a half how you don't understand and I know, and you have a woeful fucking position with science, blah, 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 and nothing is said. No IV is indicated. It's like, you're just wasting time, bro.
Yeah, I mean, you were very straightforward. You buzzed, so it was your chance to ask a question and he had to answer. Because that's why you buzzed. That's what the buzz is there for. Instead of answering you, he literally just makes up a whole sad story saying again, you're not answering him. Like, what? Not answering you because you say it's an experiment and he says it's not. Dave literally tells you it's not an experiment, so he has no obligation to tell you what the IV is. It's not a damn experiment. Wow.
So I'm just going to do the same. Back to you.
It's not my experiment. I don't even acknowledge it. It's your fucking experiment, Craig. Not mine. I don't acknowledge that nonsense. So what's the IV?
Now, Dave, you were the one that brought up the Cavendish.
Sorry, this is why I say again. Jaren, you were supposed to do modding job here and say, just answer him, Craig. There we go. That's all I would say you should have done tonight. You guys agree with me? That's when the mod should stand in?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Appreciate the platform, Jaren, but that's what a mod's supposed to do. Stand in and say, listen, yeah, he asked you the question 6-7 times now. Just answer him. That's how debates work. You have a conversation, not ignore the guy and just expect him to jump every time you click your fingers.
Yeah.
So we are going to.
So you don't know the IV. Got it.
Yep, exactly.
You done? Yeah, okay. So you were the one that brought up the Cavendish experiment, and I absolutely 100% know what the IV is. In fact, I typed it in my chat just now.
I only brought up. Hold on. No.
Hold on. Time out. I just want to know. So, are you going to answer him or no? Because if you're just you typed it in your chat, but you don't want to answer.
There we go.
I'm confused what that means.
Him it first. So if he isn't going to answer me it, then I'm waiting for him to talk me through the methodology of the experiment that he brought up and tell me why it isn't an experiment.
Look, this is so dishonest right here. I only brought it up in the context of you wanting me to steelman your fucking argument. I didn't bring it up. I steelmanned your fucking position. So that's a bunch of shit right there that I brought it up. That's not even in that context. I didn't use it as one of my talking points. I used it as one of your talking points.
You didn't even say it. Exactly. He just asked you to strawman what it is and what you observe. That's it. So that's what you did. There was no IV necessary in there because that's not what was asked. And like you've literally stated, it's not your experiment. It is not an experiment. So therefore, you don't have the obligation to say what the IV is. Literally, the person saying they know what the IV is 20 times can't just say it.
And you,
so
you went ahead and typed it in your freaking chat. Why can't you just verbalize it? I'm sure verbalizing it would take less time than typing it in your chat.
No, you know what happened? He was waiting for his chat to give him the IV. He was buying time. But Aaron, he did step in here, so I have to give up to him there. Thank you. Eventually did, but he did back down, which was a bit stupid.
Brought up the fucking Cavendish experiment because you asked me to steelman your argument. Okay? Yeah, I don't buy the Cavendish experiment. I don't think it's worth a shit. Okay? It doesn't prove anything at all. Okay? It's your experiment. I brought it up because you asked me to steelman your fucking argument. Okay? That's not my argument. It's your argument. So, Craig, what is the independent variable in the Cavendish experiment?
That's the question I asked you. So,
not my experiment, brother. I steel-manned your position. You're straw-manning me because over my straw-manning of your position.
Yeah, I think you wanted to say steel manning.
Yeah, man. I think if anybody had a brain, they'd understand that. But like you say,
of course.
Let's say, oh, look what he said. You know.
Are you straw manning?
Yeah.
And then he starts getting to semantics later on as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's what you're doing.
Incredible. You just strawmanned the word strawman. That was.
How did he strawman the word strawman?
What?
Shows he doesn't even know what the word strawman means, guys.
That's just a numpty thing to say. That's a waste of breath.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, guys, please hit the likes, share the show. Really do appreciate everybody, yeah, man. You guys rock.
Fucking nut boy.
The dishonesty of that guy.
He'll say anything, won't he?
No, answer the question, Craig. Can you stay on fucking topic and stop acting like a girl?
100%. And you know what I asked you to do very first is the thing that you've utterly and completely failed to do, and that is to describe
another lie and just obfuscation. He asked you for a simple question: what is the IV for your non-experiment? Not hard to understand.
Still have not fucking said it yet.
Well, maybe, Dave, if you let me finish a complete sentence and thought.
Does it all have to start with this preamble? Do you have to have this fucking 20-minute fucking preamble to tell me what the independent variable is?
Dave, every time you interrupt me, I'm going to start from the beginning. So maybe you can practice some impulse control.
See, that's what he does. The person actually interrupting is Dave. Is Craig. Because Dave asked him a question, and he doesn't even let him finish his question while he interrupts him. It's not simple. Question: what is the independent variable for the Cavendish since you say it's experiment? Answer: blah, 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 blah. Not, oh, you're not answering me, you're a baby, or you're strawmanning, or look at that big head, or insulting, or whatever. Because that's all that Craig did the whole time. Wow. You guys have anything further to say?
Wow.
I can see Anthony sitting with his biting his lip there listening to this.
Well, just pay attention to how much information is actually put out by Craig during this little rant, and how much of it is directed at insulting me. And what cracked me up, he says, not to insult you, but you're really a stupid ignorant. And I'm like, what? Then goes on to insult me. And I'm like, you know, that's what that's what gets me. People say, well, you know, I'm going to be honest with you. And I'm thinking, wait a second, up till now, you've been being dishonest?
Exactly.
What?
That's exactly that.
Yeah.
I don't think they know what honesty is.
No.
And be quiet and let me finish the thought, and I will get there. Because
let me know when you get to the fucking IV, right?
There we go, Dave. So as you just interrupted me, I will start again from the beginning. Now, Dave, we asked at the beginning, I asked you to steelman my position, which you failed to do. You brought up the Cavendish experiment, which you then failed to describe. I know the Cavendish experiment. The IV in the Cavendish experiment is the distance between the masses.
So not gravity then?
He said distance between the objects.
Distance between the masses. Is that gravity?
No.
What do they claim is the cause for acceleration, guys?
Gravity.
Oh, so that's not gravity then.
I love how he says, oh, since you interrupted me again, I have to start at the beginning. But what he's doing is not just starting at the beginning. He's making it longer now by explaining why he's going to start again. And I'm like, just let me know when you get to the IV, man. Okay? I'm going to just listen for that word, independent variable or IV. When I hear that, I'll perk up.
Yeah.
Hasn't he started out like 3 times now or 4 from the beginning?
Exactly. And by the way,
with a preamble for that, explaining why he's doing it.
And he has never, he just literally ran around the bushes the whole time, not giving an answer on what the IV is.
Wasting time.
Yeah, exactly. And now he gives the IV, and it's not gravity.
Nope.
Literally showing it's not what you claim it to be. I mean, how much more clearer can we make it? Cavendish is not a scientific experiment. There is no observed phenomena in nature of mass attracting mass. Literally not.
Simple as that.
And how did that give you that it attracts one another? And especially when the results are never consistent.
Mm-hmm.
We see all the time that the results are not consistent. They don't come together at all. Sometimes they don't even fucking move during the whole day.
That buzzer.
Go ahead, Craig.
Yeah. So, the IV is the distance between the masses, because as you change the IV, the distance between the masses, that changes the dependent variable, which is the attractive force between the masses.
False. The dependent variable is what is being observed. Changing the distances doesn't change movement. Does it change what's been shown in the masses? How many, Anthony? How many times have you changed the distance between the masses when you did the Cavendish?
How many times have you done what, did you say?
Changed the distance between the masses when you did the Cavendishes?
Probably about 30 times, 40 times.
And did you see mass attracting mass in any of those times?
No, never. We tried to. That was the whole point we were trying to establish. Did mass attract mass? We weren't trying to measure how much.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it broke up again.
It's those penguins again, man.
Influenced by it was that we have no idea what.
Yeah, he was saying the other day that it would just do things all by itself. There's no explanation, like a ghost or
Yeah,
exactly.
It just do what it wanted when it wanted as well. There was no pattern to it. It's like when somebody's acting randomly and it's not behaving in a way that's craziness. You have no way of, everything else seems to be stable. Everything else seems to be static. Yet this thing's spinning around like a rev car.
Exactly. Yeah, and I mean, like I said, if they're claiming gravity is the cause, in other words, an independent variable, then the distance between the masses is not gravity. That's not what gravity is. So it's not gravity for your cause, which you claim is the cause then. Duh. It's like going to a clothing shop and ordering food. It's like, no, but I want to order food. Yeah, but this is a clothing shop. Yeah, but I want to order food. Okay.
I do that all the time, class. I always go to the place where I get my jeans and that. I always go in there and start asking for sandwiches and stuff. always. Not you. Yeah.
A guy comes up and says, "Hi, sir, can I help you?" And you tell him, "Yes, I'm looking for a very nice chainsaw today. Do you have can I get one?" Well, we don't sell chainsaws. Well, why not? Good gravy.
And
This guy is really an irritating thing, man. And he gets glee out of being a dick. That's what you see out of him. And it's like, what kind of a dark, every one of these guys has a dark spirit to them.
Oh, yeah.
PhD Tony, that guy looks like he's going to stroke out, man. He needs to go in the corner and fart real good or something, man. He just looks like he's ready to fucking kill at any moment,
But
my Sovereign, is that your son's link in there?
Yeah.
In chat.
Yeah.
Do you want to shout it out? Do you want to shout it out? In fact, just to say
I subscribe to Sovereign Soul's channel. The link is hovering around there in the chats. I also sub now. Give him some love.
Yes.
He's in the same camp as I am. One of my biggest philosophies is this, man. You free your mind and your ass will follow. And part of that is not only understanding the prison you're in physically, right? What they've got you believe in that, which is a mental game. All the other mental games that have been played on you as to, you know, why these people have some kind of power or assume power over you, where it comes from, where they got this from. And he goes really deep into it, all the way back to papal bulls and stuff. And you wouldn't believe it, man. This whole ownership of you goes right back to, like, really a long time ago, to a thing called unum sanctum. It's where the Pope just declared everybody dead and mortgaged you, and he gets to be in charge of your soul. Ain't that cool?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you think that if you were going to cite an experiment that you claimed supported your position, wouldn't you think that the title of the experiment would match the thing that you say that?
Yeah, not just some guy's name.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also, remember he said in the beginning of his open statement that we had to watch again, where he said he only accepts empirical evidence, yet he has no empiricism for anything he just said.
No.
Literally nothing.
That's right. Right.
Yeah. Somebody needs to wipe that shit-eating grin off his face.
I honestly don't know.
I'll do it.
What's with that hair? What is with that hair? It's like, I imagine like some really heavy set girl came up, put his head in her butt cheeks and pulled up, you know?
Trying to go the Jimmy
version of a comb over.
He's trying to do the Jimmy Neutron style, guys. Remember, he wants to look smart.
It's a cartoon character smart. That's cool. Well, he likes cartoon space. Why not?
Yeah.
Well, that's true. That's true.
You got to stick with the theme.
Because gravity is proportional to the product of two or more masses, inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them, which means you change the masses, you change the distance between the masses, you change the attractive force.
How did you
Not my fault, Dave, but you don't understand what
how did you determine? How did you determine that it was the mass that was attracting each other? How was that determined?
Because you changed the distance between the masses.
Is there other? That's the only explanation?
Dave, are you going to allow me to get a single thought out before?
You just asked your question. You just had to answer. Is that the only thing that can cause the masses moving?
You could say yes or no and then move on. There you go.
Yeah, the answer would be no. And again, that's not gravity. He literally says, remember, what they're fighting for, gravity causes massive attraction. Yeah. So is gravity just me moving masses away from each other or close to it? That's gravity, guys. So I'm gravity now.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, wouldn't that affect like airplanes and things higher up? Gravity be way different. We'd way less.
Why, when you fly closer to the moon, are you not attracted to the moon?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Magnetos, real magnetos.
You have to get into a stupid orbit or something to make that happen.
Well,
falling around.
You'd have to fly by the moon during a high tide. Right?
Yeah.
So, you know, that way it would be the gravitational parallaxical referendum would be. Or whatever. These idiots, man. I swear to God.
But I mean, you couldn't even get to how gravity is not even a force because he's so dumb. And he doesn't even get how Cavendish is not even an experiment. That's how bad it was.
Or interrupting me.
Go ahead, Craig.
Yeah, so you change the distance between the masses and attractive force changes, which is what the computation of the guess was. Because in science, as Richard Feynman said, you're not doing science if you don't compute the consequences of a guess and then test that against reality.
Yeah, but the guess is usually the IV, which you've observed in nature. Has anybody seen ever in nature?
Hang on. The key word there was compute. You don't compute anything with a hypothesis.
No, after experimentation, you take the data and you compute the data.
Right.
But like I'm saying, he literally skipped step one as well.
Wow, man.
I mean, step one is observe natural phenomena.
Right.
Is the Cavendish an observed natural phenomena, guys?
No.
Nope.
No, it's all.
You know, I got to even thinking about that. You have like a really flat surface, okay? And you make sure it's 100% level, okay? It's 100% level. It's 100% flat as far as like surface. You say it's 120 micro inches of smoothness to it, okay? It's very, very smooth, very, very flat. And you put two steel balls in proximity of one another. There they are setting, and even have it isolated inside of this enclosure so that it's not affected by any kind of drafts or anything like that. Do you think those steel balls are going to roll toward one another or change distance toward one another at all for any reason?
Nope.
If you've got it isolated away from any kind of vibrations, any kind of wind current or anything like that, those two balls are never going to go together. You can come back in 1,000 years and you'll be sitting in the same fucking spot, man. This is just this whole thing is nonsense that they talk about, because you're not observing. Nobody has ever observed this phenomenon, like you said. So why would you?
My teacher used to tell me that if two big ships like two Queen Marys or Titanics were next to each other, they would hit each other just because they would attract each other.
Because the wind. Yeah.
And I was like, nah.
That's
How would you prove it without the wind or the waves? And
yeah, you see, the thing is,
does that.
If you stand next to a road and you have a truck or a bus or something rushing past you, you can feel, but that's literally the wind pushing you towards there, because it's the air pressure that's pulling you towards it. It's
it ain't
that's
no
not gravity. And then notice that mass has to be moving to do that.
Yeah.
Now, when you like put two objects, let's say like this, next to each other and they're standing still, there's air current moving between the two. Okay? That can cause attraction.
Yes.
It's literally physics.
Yes.
But the guy's such a moron, he doesn't understand that that's not gravity.
Yep.
You can do that with static electricity if you wanted to.
I think I had a pretty good link to. I found this old videos, man, of this guy. I guess they were for educational purposes. All the guy does is do different demonstrations on different principles. And really quite.
Walter Lewin.
Is that his name?
I think it's Walter Lewin you were showing. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this guy's funnier than hell too, because he's like really into it, real dramatic and everything. But he shows awesome stuff. Real simple experiments. You can replicate these yourself, and really good way to show it. And he was showing about Bernoulli's principle. We showed about that one night, and it's even the Navy has regulations on how close together ships can be when they're passing each other, because that current going between them causes a lower pressure, because of the current going through there causes a lower pressure. So the outside pressure pushes the two ships together and they'll collide.
Yeah.
You can do that by blowing between two pieces of paper like that, and they go and stick together.
It has nothing to do with gravity.
Right.
Nothing at all. Even temperature. I mean, temperature changes the excitement of the gases around an object. Yeah. Even that excitement of the gases around the object that's now moving at a different pace causes a low pressure or high pressure, which causes the movement of those masses. It literally can be shown with actual physics that's got absolutely sweet bugger all to do with gravity. Right. And again, that is not mass attracting mass. They just don't understand when you have torsion twist due to torque, it's not gravity. Just as he says, his IV is the distance between the masses.
Right.
So that's not gravity then, because what's gravity said to be, guys? A force of attraction.
Right.
In that particular model, which is false because it's been outdated for 110 years already.
Well, here's the thing to think about this. I was just playing around in my head there one day, and I was thinking, think about how different our concept of physics would be if our environment was on the bottom of the ocean. We were, if we lived on the bottom of the ocean, what would our concept of physics as we see them today be?
Gravity pushes up.
Yeah, right.
And buoyancy pushes down.
You know, there's creatures, and here's the thing: everything's is created for where it lives, right? So there's things that live way down in the deepest pressures of the ocean, right? And they're built for that. And if you bring them up to a shallow level, they'll die the same as
a red
you will
snapper.
if you go up too high and don't have the pressure on you.
I've caught a red snapper before, and when they came to the surface, their eyes popped out. And
wow.
Exactly.
They died like immediately.
Nice. Popped out.
I mean, all this can be explained with literally displacement. Gravity is a hijack of displacement, and because the people are morons and they have this belief that balls need to attract each other, they need to claim that gravity is a force of attraction, which even in his IV shows it's not gravity. I don't know how to make that more clearer.
Well, it's a key canon. It's a key canon in this, and it was born of a religious belief in the first place. This whole idea of balls and spheres and planets and shit, this was all based out of philosophy. There was no science involved behind that, and it was basically like a cult, a religion. And in order to keep that alive, in order to make that true, because we have these fundamental physical impossibilities that they're incorporating, right? Back when this shit was first postulated, they didn't even have that idea. They weren't really thinking about space being a vacuum and the sun being a ball of gas or nothing like that. So they just figured the air just went out forever. They didn't think, you know, they had this really rudimentary concept. So they had to invent a lot of little Santa Claus lies in order to make the damn thing even conceivable. But when you take that shit away, they don't have anything. When you take away their fundamental, that's like I said in my beginning, when you take away the fundamental physical impossibilities that they postulate, at the jump street, it kills it. It totally kills it. And this is why gas pressure and gravity is their kryptonite, man. I'm telling you now.
But you know what's also their kryptonite? Gravity is not a force. He knows this. George Musa told him it was not a force. Yeah, here he is pushing as though it is a force.
Yeah, they hate that. Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing which is really a problem for them, because they need Cavendish to prove it as a force. Okay? But his IV is showing it's not gravity which causes the attraction, which we don't observe anyway.
Yeah. They should have made Santa Claus a skinny guy. It would have been more believable. He could get down the chimney.
Well, there again, in those days, they had these guys called chimney sweeps. There was actually guys who climbed down chimneys.
We still have them here in Denmark.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
They wear a black
I got
suit
to
and
look
a
at
hat.
that. The chimney on my house was like, you know, I was like, there ain't no way anybody's getting down that thing. And so what did my parents do? The same thing as gravity. They said, well, Santa's magic. He can make himself small and come down the chimney. I was like, oh, okay. This is getting dumber.
Yeah.
So every year this is getting dumber, you know. It wasn't long I didn't buy in it. But what was given to me when I didn't buy into it, when I finally said Santa Claus isn't real and none of their excuses took place, they wouldn't take hold. They said, okay, listen, but don't tell your friends, right? Don't tell your friends, because the parents were all in on it. How could everybody be in on it, right?
This reminds me of Anthony was talking to Luch about the wrestling. And he asked him, you know that wrestling's fake, right?
Yeah.
I can just imagine
I think that he still believes that wrestling's real, you know. I think he said that just to progress the conversation.
That was funny.
I was imagining his face when you said that. I was like, what?
Oh my God, I know. I was listening to that. I was laughing. I was like, no, he does not think that's real. Come on. He just now found out that it's scripted. No way.
That was funny.
But I mean, that's exactly what happens. That's exactly what happens with the Globies if they're honest. They get that, what? It's fake?
I don't think Lou is allowed to play outside. I just don't. I mean, I don't think he's actually had any like.
Hey, speaking of Luch, did you guys catch Nathan's show? One of my mates rang me and said you need to. One of my mates rang me and said you need to watch Nathan's show. Go and watch it right now. And basically, the way they interpreted Luch's behavior, you know, he was doing that really slow talk.
Yeah. Oh, we broke up again.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you have to understand about Luch, though. He is. Yeah.
Well, he was basically. Somebody was feeding him. He wasn't acting on his own volition.
That's what they say, but I don't. He is. He has a bit of Down syndrome.
Yeah,
so that's
I think
why
he does.
that way.
Even
though they see it that way, but that's not.
Yeah, no, he's not. He's not got flats. He hasn't got Downs. He's autistic.
Autistic, sorry.
Yeah,
but
autistic.
To his how can I say? To back him up a bit, he is just a bit slow because of his autism. That's not because someone's giving it. Although all his information is based from this guy on screen, FTFE. That's where he gets most information, unfortunately.
My son's autistic, and what it is that they can be very, very intelligent, but they've got a narrow focus.
They just think too fast.
Yeah,
the alphas, they think faster than they can.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think Luch is thinking too fast, so.
He did take his time. But yeah, he wasn't getting fed information. That's one thing I don't agree with her.
No, I don't think.
Yeah, but
I think he was just looking it up on his phone.
Yeah, go ahead. And
when you're meditation, so
I can't hear a word you're saying. You're breaking up. It's really bad.
This is why I didn't want to get on your show in U.S. My internet was so slow. There's nothing worse than when you're breaking up.
Yeah, but you see, Anthony's using satellites. You see, so he has issues.
Yeah, they don't exist is one of the problems.
But better, Anthony.
You have to believe in him for him to exist.
Is that better?
Yeah, much better. Here we go.
You must believe.
The thing is, when I'm asking him to present that citation, right? However, be it a link or a screenshot or share screen, not doing it for whatever reason. When you listen back to it, the only logical explanation is because someone's messaging him on like Discord or Skype or whatever, and they're telling him what to say. And there is no citation to present. That makes more logical sense than anything else.
That could be it, or he was just made shit up because he lied, and he couldn't back it up. It could be both the ways, but yeah, it is definitely. It could be something that someone was maybe trying to help him.
Kind of like Craig in his headphones talking to Don Pettit.
Oh yeah, we've seen it many times. Craig definitely gets fed in his headphones. McToon and all of them.
Do you think that was
helping each other?
I think that might be why he took so long coming up and answering what the IB was.
That's why I said he was waiting for his chat to give it to him.
Yeah, and he was getting different answers. He had to pick.
Yeah.
He had to pick.
Between Don Pettit and Scott Kelly.
Do we see stars or don't we see stars?
That's all diagonal lines.
It's insane. Okay, let's get on with the show.
Let's get on,
Yeah.
The assumption, the hypothesis is that mass attracts mass. You compute the consequences of that, which is the distance between masses changes, and so will the attractive force. Then you test that against reality.
Sorry, that's false. You just literally, you first do the experiment. That's the test, right? Your hypothesis is what causes it. Your experiment is the test. You then compute the data after the test. You don't compute data before you do the test.
and you skipped step 1. You've
Yeah,
never
observe
observed
natural
this
phenomena.
phenomenon. So
Oh wow.
This experiment is reality. It is testing the computation of the guess. That is how science works. It's not my fault, Dave, that
You don't test the computation of the guess, you idiot. You test the cause for the effect. The computation is the data based on what was observed. The guy doesn't even know how. What?
His earbuds batteries must have went dead.
Oh man. Hey Titan, good to see you, man. That's insane.
look at it, I'm like in this position of just fucking keep me from going off on this guy. Just please God, keep me from going off on this guy.
I can see the frustration there. What's up, Brian Stavely? Good to see you, man. Glad to have
Hey,
you.
Brian.
Yeah, Brian Stavely's on a roll these days. Pissing off a lot of people.
Nice.
You don't understand science or what an experiment is. You failed completely in your first attempt to debunk, and you failed because you didn't understand it. Good job.
So first off,
I love how you just ignored every insult he just made there. I love it.
Yep.
Because he was waiting for you to get a triggered response or something. And you literally just ignored it. It was like, ugh.
you wanted me to steel man your position, which is already just bringing up a whole bunch of nonsensical shit like that. So you're telling me that torsion twist is that's mass attracting I don't get it. Anyway, I want to get onto this because even if your fictitious gravity does exist, which it doesn't, and you don't really have any proof of. I mean, if that's the best you got is an 18th century parlor trick, I think that's pretty bad. But
Dave,
I'm not. Hold on.
Ring in if you want to
I
ring in.
love how he keeps saying you keep interrupting him. What's he doing constantly while you're talking?
Yep.
I think
Then
that
he
would
hit
be
that
called
buzzer.
interruption. Yeah.
You know, the buzzer just turned out to be a more convenient way to fucking interrupt. That's what I found, you know?
Yep.
And I think
Annoyingly.
Yeah. And I think it's from now on where it just starts buzzing every time you say 2 words.
Yep.
2 words? That's ridiculous.
Thank you.
Was that a buzzer?
It's buzzer, but you have 10 seconds after that. Go ahead if you want to finish your thought.
I forgot what I was going. Go ahead.
Okay, go Dave.
Dave,
Craig.
Describe the Cavendish experiment as a parlor trick. Could you please define a parlor trick and tell me exactly how the Cavendish experiment is a parlor trick?
Watch, I love this. And he didn't expect this at all. He didn't expect this. You literally got him off guard here. Check this, guys.
Look, I took my thumb off. Oh my God, I'm magic. I took my thumb off. That's a parlor trick. Okay. Did I really take my thumb off? No. Was there any investigation done to see if I had actually pulled my thumb off? No. What it was is we made an observation and we made an assumption. Do you understand the difference between making an assumption during an observation?
You're already starting. You're giving your point, your statement, and now he's interrupting with his beeping.
And actually having definitive proof of that. Now, here's the problem. Because with your mass attracting mass, right? You claim that air has mass.
Okay,
Go ahead,
right?
Craig.
Yep. So, yeah, correct. That's a parlor trick. Now, the next part of the question, which you stepped over, was could you please equate?
That's exactly what he just did.
Yeah.
When you interrupted him and beeped. Equating it. That's what he was doing, did he not? You literally explained why it's a parlor trick.
Yeah.
You told him what a parlor trick is and then told him why Cavendish is a parlor trick, and then he says you just stepped over it. I mean, what? Okay.
What you did there as a parlor trick to the Cavendish experiment. Thank you.
Now he knows what a parlor trick is.
Sorry, you have to unmute yourself.
Now he knows what a parlor trick is. I don't think
So just let me pause both people real quick. I'll pause both, just so you guys realize one more time. So when you buzz in, I'm counting in my head 10 seconds, and then I'm going to mute that other person. But when you come back, you have to unmute yourself. I can't unmute you. So it would be better if you just get done in 10 seconds. This way I don't have to mute you, and you can obviously talk next time you want to talk. But if you do get muted, just make sure you check to see if you're muted on the next one. Go ahead. So you had asked him, Craig, ask one more time the question you asked.
Yeah, how do you equate what you did there as a parlor trick to the experiment called the Cavendish experiment? Please equate those for me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure. So you made an observation and assumed the cause. You didn't.
No.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you guys did. You built a man-made contraption apparatus and assumed a cause and claimed it to be gravity. And then when asked what's the IV, you said me moving masses away. So not gravity then. Usually an experiment comes after observed phenomena and then after hypothesis. An experiment doesn't come first and then hypothesis and it's not hard to understand. It's in a step order for a reason. That's what's called the scientific method. Also, one thing I have to point out, Craig thinks there's more than one method, guys.
Who let the dogs out?
Who let the dogs out? Woo, woo. But he doesn't understand when you say method, it means singular.
Yeah.
Spud's request. You guys, please subscribe to Sovereign Soul. He deserves it. Wow. It's quite loud.
Like, subscribe.
Especially.
I didn't think dogs were allowed on the International Space Station.
Of course, yeah.
It's a good one.
When it's an experiment, is the experiment consistent every time it's performed? No, it's not, because I can show you videos of it not working at all.
No, you can.
Yes, you can.
Yes.
Yes, you can. I've shown it. He's shown it. Many people have shown it. Sleeping Water have shown it.
We've seen them all. We've all seen them, Craig. We've all seen them. I showed them on my show.
I think
Flatzoid has shown it. Flatzoid has shown it. I've shown it. It's not consistent. An experiment, for something to be the actual proof of it, you have to have consistent results repeatedly with this. Okay. Now, the problem with the mass attracting mass is that you claim that the mass of the air is attracted to the mass of the earth. Now, you've got this worked out to a gravitational constant.
You want your minute? You can take a minute if you want.
Yeah, I'll take my minute.
Okay, there's your minute. Go ahead.
All right, so you have it worked out to a gravitational constant of how fast things are accelerate toward the earth. Now, of course, this is taken in a vacuum, which is an unnatural condition that doesn't exist anywhere in nature. But you have this rate of fall, right, of mass to the mass of the earth. Can you demonstrate a downward acceleration of air or a downward pressure of air that's causing our air pressure due to gravity? Or is the air pressure actually a product of displacement of the medium? There you go.
Okay, you're on.
Okay. So yeah, back to the question I was asking.
He literally just asked him a question. He literally just ignored him.
It's like they're in two different debates.
Yeah, it's like Dave's asking him questions, and every single time Dave asks him a question, Craig literally just goes on like he didn't ask him anything. The whole debate so far.
Which you seem to have glossed over. You then said the Cavendish experiment doesn't give consistent results, whereas that's false. Every time the experiment is performed properly, it gives the exact same results. In fact,
listen to this argument, guys.
Every time I've done it, it's done the exact same thing. Everyone in my
He's done it. Craig, Craig, show us you doing the Cavendish, please. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Craig's been to Antarctica. Craig's been.
Yeah, Craig, get your balls out.
I mean, Craig's been everywhere, guys. This guy's been like everywhere. He's just done everything. He's done every experiment. He's seen everything.
Yeah. Everything.
Yeah.
Physics course, it did the exact same thing. BM Verbal did the exact same thing. Blue Marble Science did the exact same thing. When the experiment is set up correctly, it does the exact same thing. So could you please give me a particular time and provide evidence of the Cavendish experiment being set up properly and not working, giving consistent results?
So basically, what you're saying is when it does what you want it to do, then it's been set up correctly. But if it doesn't do what you want it to do, it's not been set up correctly, even though the method of setup is the same for everybody. So that's basically what you're saying. If it's set up and does what you want it to do, then it's correct. But if it's set up the same way and doesn't, then it wasn't set up correctly. That sounds like a cop-out to me. And it shouldn't be that fucking difficult to prove.
No, Dave, when it's set up correctly, it does the right thing.
That's exactly what he just said.
What I just said. Exactly. What do you do?
Idiot.
Thank you.
Oh, that's not all. But that is him hand wave dismissing. So if it doesn't give the results he wants, it's not set up correct. So that's literally hand wave dismissal, guys. I thought science is supposed to be repeatable. If it's not repeatable, it's not science.
Exactly. If it doesn't give the same results every time consistently, I mean, and that would be with the amount of time it takes. Everything you should be able to take and say, okay, well, let's see. If I use a big weight and a little weight, will the big weight stay stationary while the little weight gets, just swing right on over to it? I mean, what the f- are they doing with this? I mean, it's just.
That's insane. I just have to say, yeah, guys, if a lot of people lost their wrenches because I had some rogue mod going on again somehow from the last thing, and they started banning people. I unbanned 30 people before the show. So yeah, a lot of people did get wrenches gone and stuff. So sorry about all that. It's maybe just safer. But yeah, it's simple. He doesn't even know what an experiment is. He's a complete moron. Craig is the most incompetent person when it comes to science. That it's alarming that the guy actually claims to be clever and smart on anything scientific. How did this guy? I'm sorry, I still don't get how this guy ever says he was a nuclear physicist on a submarine.
I'm pretty sure he was the janitor.
I think he was the potato peeler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, somebody's going to clean the toilet.
They had to put him on a submarine because if they'd have put him on a regular ship, he'd have been pitched overboard by somebody before they ever got to shore.
I'd have shot him out of a potato, or what do you call it? Tube. Pedo tube.
Torpedo tube. Shoot him out of the torpedo tube.
Well, remember, this is the same guy that said he saw bottom-up obstruction from boats when he was in a helicopter 700 meters up.
Yeah. But then he conceded, though. I says, if you went up to 1,000 meters, would you be able to see the boat again? He says, yes. I said, well, what happened to the physical curve? I said, if you went up to 1,500 feet or meters, you'd see the boat and more horizon beyond the boat. So
let's put it this way. If you're 700 meters up looking down and you see bottom-up obstruction, would the horizon be beyond that boat?
Yeah.
Otherwise, what distance would that boat be? Okay, so it was an aircraft carrier. Even an aircraft carrier, the distance it would have to be. The guy doesn't really think about his maths, does he?
Nope.
No.
He doesn't understand field of view.
He doesn't understand angular size change. He doesn't understand field of view.
There's a lot of things you don't understand.
He doesn't understand how orthographic view is not perspective.
Oh my God, I hate it. They do that shit too, man. And they can't get it. It's like, I'm wondering, do you actually see like in only 2 dimensions? How do you not bump into shit all the time? I mean, like, God damn. No depth perception, just bam. Oh shit, I thought that was over there. I don't have any depth.
But I loved when he told you there's no such thing as foreshortening in reality. And then literally when you showed your thumb doing foreshortening, he said, yeah, that's foreshortening. I was like, you just said there's no such thing as foreshortening.
Yeah. Wow.
It's insane.
If it's not set up correctly, then it won't do the right thing.
You're
So
saying
can you
exactly
provide
what I said. You're saying
So Dave-
exactly what I said, Craig.
Yes, Dave, if you don't set up an experiment correctly, you will not get the right results. So could you please provide me an
How
instance
is
where
it
it's
set
not-
up incorrectly?
So Dave, could you please provide me an instance of when it's not been set up, when it's been set up correctly and it's not been given consistent
Yes,
results?
there's all kinds of incidences. Even in my high school class, in physics class, a fucking physics teacher was about pulling his hair out. He says, I don't understand. He says, I had it set up correctly for the last class, and now it's not working. Now it's not working.
Evidence of any of this?
What's that? Just my own recollection.
Oh, yeah, no, he should have recorded that when he was in high school, of how his teacher was telling him it worked, now it doesn't work. Yeah, he should have had recordings of that.
Must have been a
We
gravity
didn't have
pocket.
stuff to record with back then, like they do now. When I was in high school, that was that physics class, I believe, was 1982. So yeah,
but you could
I would have had to have a big old camera.
You could have just left, just lent the technology from NASA, man. Come on.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah. We got it right here.
But I mean, think about the hypocrisy the guy's showing. He's saying, I only accept empirical evidence. Then when you show, look, there's things that contradict your evidence, therefore it discards it being empirically validated. What does he say? No, then it's not set up correct. That's called having a bias. Just because you say, if it doesn't give my results, and therefore it's not set up correct.
Yeah, well,
it shows that he's got a bias. Simple as that. It's insane.
That's just one, but I've seen video of it and everything. The point is, it doesn't work consistently. It's outdated, and you're the one that wanted me to steel man the thing. I don't even accept it as anything. Okay, my biggest problem with this whole gravity thing is the fact. Well, there again, you're wanting to stick to something that you had me steel man you on.
Darren, can I have my minute, please?
Sure.
Yeah. So, the entire purpose of what I'm doing here is to show that you do not understand the things that you are talking about. It does not matter if you do not accept the Cavendish experiment as
literally projection. Literally projection.
experiment. When you use the correct methodology and set up the experiment the right way, it gives consistent results every single time.
That's a lie.
Yeah.
I do recall you also ask him, okay, how is it set up differently? Has anybody ever seen someone set up the Cavendish differently to what it's supposed to be set up by?
No.
No. Heck, I've seen them try set it up with bowling balls in a classroom full of people. Would that be wrong? Yes.
Yes, the people would cause a gravitational field problem.
Yeah, and it's a lot of air currents moving around in a classroom.
Yeah.
The wind.
And then it gives the results he wants. It's not set up correct, but it gives the results he wants, so therefore it's valid.
We also didn't take into account that the radiator's over on this wall closer to where this weight's at here too. So there's a warmer.
Yeah, and they turn on and off.
God damn, I know. It's what a jank, and like you said, man, that's a really great point to that, is that it starts with an observation. You can't just think up some dumb shit and then think, oh, I think that's what it's going to be, you know, and just, let's make an experiment to prove Narnia. For what? I mean, you've never observed this ever. You've never seen anybody being attracted toward a mountain or a huge building or an aircraft carrier. You know, you're walking next to one. It's very daunting if you're on the dock looking at an aircraft carrier. It's not pulling you toward it.
The only mess I've ever been attracted to is my wife. Thank you.
There you go. There you go.
It's called pre-guessing.
She's watching. He's sucking up. He's sucking up. She's watching.
If set up correctly, it works correctly. And that's it. If you don't set it up right, it's not going to work right. There is no instance that has ever been shown where it's set up correctly and does not give consistent results. You are just saying a thing. I can literally provide you with list after list after list of the experiment being done under better and better conditions. Last year, they did it using millimeter gold balls, using the same methodology in a redesigned experiment under much smaller conditions, showing that the attractive force is even on a microscopic level, exactly as we predicted. Your claims that...
Okay, Craig, make a video showing us this. Oh, and by the way, Craig, we're still waiting. It's been a year by now that I'm still waiting for your refracted hand demonstration that he says he's done. Has anybody seen that demonstration that he said he did a year ago? Remember, he said he just has to finish editing the video.
Yeah.
That was a year ago, I think.
Yeah.
It's really hard for me to even, and this was, I would listen, this is what you got to understand. Listening to this guy, to me, is like I'm listening to just a snipey little bitch. I mean, for real, just a snipey little bitch. I mean, and that's just so irritating to listen to in the first place. Especially when he's just so fucking wrong. You know, you're sitting there going, oh my God, how dare you act so haughty about the dumb shit you're saying? Just, where does he get that? Just this little attitude he has. He thinks he says some shit with this little attitude that makes it factual or something, authoritative or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I can't half the time listen to him, so I don't watch him, man.
It's frustrating.
Yeah,
it's literally it's like talking to a wall and expecting to get a decent discussion back with a wall.
I put him right up there with Judge Judy. You ever seen Judge Judy? I can't stand her, man. You know, I mean, she acts that same way. She's all just snipey, and I'm sitting there watching her. I'm like, holy shit, these people have rights, you know. They're not God.
You, sir, listen to me.
Oh, get this. That's a Mandela effect. She never had a gavel now.
She never did. But I mean, you remember that's what you remember from her.
Yeah. But
I remember really with the gavel doing that.
And I'm like, you can't do that. You're not God. These people, there's rules. You can't just arbitrarily order people to do dumb shit. Fuck that, you know? And he's just that same way. And so authoritative about his wrongness. I'm like, oh God, stop. That's why I say they would have thrown him overboard. If they'd have had him on an aircraft carrier or a destroyer, somebody would have pitched his ass overboard. I know it.
Yep.
Being done consistent are just you saying a thing. Please provide evidence or admit that you are just saying something.
Okay, so I've seen a lot of, I could show you a shitload of successful motorcycle jumps going over stuff, right? And not show you the amount of times that it's failed. And you would be under the impression also that every time somebody has done this, jumping over school buses or some shit, that this has actually worked. Every time. It's been consistent every time. When in fact it's not. We've just excluded the parts that we didn't like. Now, the thing is with this Cavendish experiment, this is where I was going. I was
He's literally making, you're busy making a statement.
No.
But look how he glosses over your pointer. Look at this. How he tries to warp it.
Yeah. So thanks for proving my point there, Dave. If you don't do the motorbike jump correctly, you don't do it.
And we can counter this. Let's say you do the motorbike jump correctly, and maybe the fuel line cuts off halfway, or the tire gets flat, or wind comes up, and you don't make it. Did you do it correctly and not make it? Mm-hmm. Think of that. The whole point from Sov's argument here was they ignore the points where it doesn't give the results they want and only take the results that do give their results. And therefore, it's called a bias data collection. It's literally bias. It's cheating, in other words. It's
Dukes of Hazzard.
When it doesn't give the results, then, it was set up incorrectly. It's like
Dukes of Hazzard
no,
could always
it
make the
doesn't
jump.
work.
There we go, Ellen. Dukes of Hazzard, exactly.
Good old boys. Never failed on a jump.
Nope. We got Cooter's Garage right here. The guy that played Cooter has this place right here in Luray. And they've got the General Lee there, and there's all kinds of memorabilia and stuff in there, and they have music groups, and a lot of times some of the cast comes there, and they have a big meetup. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And you crash. So yeah, if you do the motorbike jump correctly, then you do it right and go over the things that you're supposed to. If you don't, you crash and burst into flames. Just like the Cavendish experiment. If you don't set it up correctly, it doesn't do the thing it's supposed to do, which is measure the attractive force between masses.
You know, he actually debunked himself with this when he said you have to do it correctly.
Yeah.
Literally proving it is a gimmick. If you do not set it up correctly for the gimmick to work, then it doesn't work.
Right.
So gravity chooses when you do it correctly or not.
It is a selective pseudo force.
It's really weird. You would think that it doesn't matter how it's set up. If I change the distance between the masses, because that's his IV, remember?
Right.
So if that's the IV, that's the IV. So if I got two strings on, I got it on a string on with a rod and two balls, what does it matter how I set it up then? Because the IV is supposed to be mass attracting mass.
Right.
And it's a bit difficult not to set it up correct because it's literally hanging from a wired thread.
Oh. I don't get it, man.
Once again, your
Yeah, the guy's a moron.
refusal
I
to
would
accept
be
this as an
embarrassed.
experiment doesn't stop
Sorry?
it.
I said I would be embarrassed if I was on the other side. I wouldn't even use that. I would be embarrassed. It's a janky looking thing to begin with. The whole thing is just janky in the first place, and it's like, are you shitting me, man? Come on.
It's so sensitive that there's just too many variables that you cannot even account for.
Yeah.
You can try your utmost best, but it doesn't give the same results. Heck, even the Cavendish paper gives different results. They had to take an average off of that because of the inconsistent results. Does he know what an average is?
Can I spoil the party a little bit?
They don't know what an average is because they use an average for a constant.
Yeah.
All the time. The speed of light, that was a consensus that they came to at a physics convention in Bern, Switzerland, back in the 20s. They came to a consensus on the speed of light because it was different measurements, right? The same thing with the 9.8 meters per second, right? That's in a vacuum, which we never experience a vacuum in the first place. And it's an average because it differs. It's not, so an average can't be a freaking constant. It's a variable.
Yeah, it's not natural. Oh, unfortunately, I'm
Can I
gonna
just
have to
check something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Did anybody hear at any point in this conversation so far the mention of the word Einstein? If not, we've spent a lot of time, or this conversation spent a lot of time talking about a position in science that's not been the case for 100 and something years, 109, 10 years.
Right.
Can you imagine if we were to bring up some elements of science that have been superseded by something else? They would be all over it like a rash. We'd never be able to bring it up again. But they do it continually, and they ignore the fact that it's no longer the current position. Why is he still bringing up Cavendish? It's just dishonest with a capital D, isn't it?
Yeah, we can actually equate this to bicycles we invented. It was brilliant in the 18th or 19th century. Now we got motorbikes like a Hayabusa or Ninja or something, and you're choosing your bicycle to try and drive faster than the motorbike.
Yeah, it's like arguing that the penny farthing is the best the best bicycle that's been out there, and it's like no one's used the penny farthing since what, the Victorian era. That's literally the comparison.
Exactly. Just because people used it then doesn't mean it's relevant now. Wow, that's awesome. 53 watching and 54 likes. That's awesome. Thank you very much, guys.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, so that's going to be part 1 of the series because I do need to go. Do you guys want to do part 2 tomorrow night of this, or do you want me to do the Dubai special?
Dude, I'm easy. I mean,
because the Dubai thing is going to also be maybe a 1 or 2 part because it's on Christianity, and it's quite a lot of things he says. So I have to do the Dubai thing, but I do want to do this. I do want to do the series finish as well. So I think let's first finish the series.
Yeah.
While it's still fresh, and then we'll do the Dubai thing.
Yeah, how many do you think
That sounds good.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, and then Friday morning, I'm going to be doing a debate on modern day debates, biblical Earth versus obviously humanistic Earth, evolution rubbish. So yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be 8 p.m. Eastern time. Thursday for you guys in the UK, in England, America. For me, it'll be Friday. So yeah, it's going to be exciting. What do you guys have to say to close off tonight's really thing? Wow.
Ooh, I mean,
I honestly don't know why he's still bringing up Cavendish.
Yeah. I mean,
he knows,
honesty.
He knows he shouldn't be bringing it up.
Yeah. I mean, the honesty.
Craig sucks.
Wow. Crazy. Nothing good to say about it. That's for sure. Nothing good. You know what I mean?
I would like to go at him again, but these are the conditions I outlined earlier. I think would be ideal. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
When one person is talking, the other guy is muted. Okay. So that even his exasperations of incredulity, you don't even hear any of that. Okay. The other guy is muted when the other guy is talking. When the other guy is done talking within a reasonable amount of time, that person then says, done. At that time, when he says done, his microphone is then muted. That means you are done. You have no more to say. The other guy gets the opportunity to respond, lay his shit out. The other guy can't say nothing. So having a buzzer just made it, I think, a more convenient way for him to interrupt you.
You're gonna see. You'll see. We carry this on tomorrow night. How much times he starts buzzing you? Every time you literally say like 3 or 4 words, he buzzes.
Yeah.
He doesn't stop buzzing you.
You didn't want me to say what I was saying. That's
extremely annoying.
Hit and hope
for the audience. I agree.
That's
So
right.
mute the other person.
Yeah.
The only way.
Hit and hope. Simple.
Yep.
But I think it's very apparent. We've shown that Craig's very dishonest.
Yep.
And he doesn't want to be a grown-up and just take it like a man. Exactly. It's all your fault. It's all your fault.
Feel me in the position, I'm just going to give you all the standard horse shit that the Globers to give me, all day long on Facebook, wherever the place, gravity, Cavendish, all this other dumb shit. And it's like, okay, so that's usually what you guys say. Now what? Well, explain this, that, and the other. Fuck you, man. You explain it.
And if Sean Hawkins does get to this part of the stream, Sean Hawkins, please show us Cavendish, the IV for Cavendish, and actually do the experiment. How's that sound?
That would be pretty cool. I'd watch that.
Cool. Because he does have a 3D printer now, doesn't he? So he can actually print his whole apparatus house if he wants to.
Thank you, Delayed Choice.
Oh, shame. I see he's showing live again how he thinks he debunked you with a vacuum chamber, weighing the vacuum chamber, not the object in a vacuum chamber, you idiot. Your argument was literally object in vacuum chamber. So you got so it's like Sleeping Warrior showing a vacuum chamber, scale inside a vacuum chamber, object on scale inside. He
Right.
literally thinks you're talking about the vacuum chamber itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Then we should weigh the room that the vacuum chamber's in too.
And then he has the audacity to call you stupid, Sam.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I consider the source. I consider the source, you know. Some crackhead in a fucking trailer someplace is not, you know, I'm not really going to let that get me to lose any sleep, you know.
Yeah. So yeah, guys, thanks for coming. Really appreciate it. Great show. I enjoyed it. Thank you for everybody that came. Thank you for everybody that hit the likes and shared the show. Thank you for the super chats. And thank you just for everybody's support. You guys rock. I definitely got to go now. So I'll see you guys all. Cheers. I'll see you guys all tonight. Well, tomorrow night. Hey, it's not night. Okay. Tomorrow night for an awesome show. And then, but tomorrow night's not going to be a very long show though because of my debate Friday morning.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Many, many blessings and may